Well, y'all been back. We back. What's up, everybody? It's Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your what? Your money. So listen, you guys, today's conversation is sparked by a viral video where a man shares his thoughts on why Black families struggle to work together and build wealth, pointing to programming and trauma and dysfunction as major barriers. But the question is, does that perspective ignore history, access, and real life pressure? That's where the conversation starts. We're not here to argue for or against the video. What we're here to do is talk about what's real. And why is it so hard for families to come together financially? Why does trust break down? Why does competition show up where collaboration should exist? These are some great questions. And then what happens when family can't stay aligned long enough to build anything lasting? What is wrong with the Black families? So we're also going to talk about how children are being prepared for the world, why other cultures approach family and wealth very differently, and what it really takes to build something together without relationships falling apart. So we're going to get into it. So right now we got me. Dr. Felice, get over a little bit because we can't see you on the small screen. The other way. Yeah, there we go. So we got Dr. Felice right here, right now. What's up, Dr. Felice? And we have Tiara and Deborah Will Win coming on in a little bit. But we're going to start the conversation, and this is very fitting, I think, to have this conversation. We got a few videos, but this is very fitting because you, Dr. Felice, you are a family therapist. You're a therapist, and so you see all different perspectives of this. But this is concerning not just family dynamics, but family wealth. And so, just from your perspective, let me before you get to therapize motherfuckers, let me ask for you and your family how you approach your wealth, the strategies, and what are you teaching to your family and your children? And I know you'll have one daughter.
I only have one daughter, but I mean, this topic can be very triggering even for me because I get it. I get where this person is possibly coming from. I haven't seen the video, but we weren't taught. I wasn't taught about money. I wasn't taught about how to handle it. I wasn't taught how to budget. And so, unfortunately, I wasn't able to pass that down to my daughter. I didn't learn about financing and money until years later. I'm just going to be honest. And so I had to do a lot of soul searching when I saw this topic because I was like, wow, it's real. It's real for a lot of us. And it's been like in the last decade or so that I started doing my own work around wealth and changing my mindset about how I see money and being able to help my daughter do that. And I've seen my daughter struggle, around money. And I'm just keeping it real. And it's because we didn't know. I didn't know. And so now that I do know, I have been changing the trajectory and positioning myself to be able to leave legacy wealth, not just for her, but for her legacy too. And so I'm really excited about this dialogue we get ready to have.
So how do you think you showed up in terms of finances with your daughter?
So she saw me seriously, I didn't put my daughter in public school. I had her in private school all her life. And I'm talking about Black private. And so what did that mean? I used to tell all my friends every month I robbed a different disciple. I had to figure out what bill I was going to pay this month and not pay this month. How was I going to juggle my finances around to make sure that our needs was met?
Do you regret that?
No, I don't regret it. And because we got it done. Okay. And so my daughter saw that. She saw me getting things done. Our lights were never take off. We always had a nice roof over our heads, so we kept things together. But I am going to tell you what I believe the key was for me too, was that I was a tither. And so I had gotten the kingdom mindset of seed, time, and harvest. And so I believe that those concepts and spiritual laws are what really helped me to get afloat. And we were able to do some really great things, even though I was robbing all the disciples. God was forgiving me and I was okay. But
what does that even mean? What does that mean? Seed, tithe, harvest?
Seed, time, and harvest. So I was planting seed. I was planting.
You're planting financial seeds or spiritual seeds?
Financial, spiritual seeds. So I was giving my tithes and my tenth into my spiritual seed, and God was supplying all my needs according to his stories, And so that was what happened. And I'm serious, Constance. I don't know how I did it, because if you were to look at my bottom line, for many years, I was in the negative.
Yeah.
But somehow me and my daughter were able to travel. I was able to take her to Europe. I was able to take her to Africa. We were able to do things. And I know it was from me giving my 10th
Yeah.
into the kingdom. And God was giving it back to me. He said, I'll give it back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so that's what I was experiencing. And so my heart was right. But I still, God needed me to elevate. He was like, you know, you can do your tithing, but I need you to go up a level. I need you to go up a level when it comes to kingdom principles about wealth too. And so I started learning that. I started changing my mindset around money. I started changing my behaviors around money. I started investing. I started saving more. I started doing certain things that literally turned my trajectory around.
Yeah, that's right. What was that thing that prompted you to do that? What was that one thing?
I didn't like being poor. Like, poverty is trauma.
Being broke is a great motivating factor for sure.
No, I hated it. And I hated the fear that I wasn't going to be able to meet a need that my daughter might have. Like, that was like a knot in my stomach that I literally said and decided I got to get rid of this. Like, I don't like this knot. I don't like this cycle. Like, it was a cycle that I just couldn't get out of. And I got tired of it.
Yeah. I think there is a great amount of trauma in our community, period. There's so many factors that contribute to it. And I don't think that we could point to one thing. You know, I think about when I was a child growing up, and I talk about it in one of my books, Keeping Score, the credit book. This is a credit book. And I think that one of the first things I say is the only thing I used to hear my parents talk about is what we couldn't have or what we couldn't do because they had bad credit. I had no idea what it was. I just knew it was ruining our lives, right? So that's my first introduction to financial literacy or having a financial IQ. And that is like for a lot of people, they just knew that, you know, like you said, they was robbing one of the disciples every month trying to figure it out. And I think what happens, what's up, Tiara? What's up? What's happening? And I think what happened, there's so many factors, and we tend to blame us. And I don't want to always say it's white supremacy, but then digging, let's go back to white supremacy. I will say, because you think about this, we have only been in the wealth building game for the last 50 years. They have a 400-year head start. They were passing down houses and land and money. We've been passing down trauma. We just getting in the game of being able to even build wealth. Because when they did let us in, then they shut some other doors. Okay, we can let you buy a house, but we ain't gonna give you a loan. We could give you a loan, but we're gonna give you a bad loan. We're gonna give you predatory lending. So it was all those factors that have happened to Black people, and that's why we are where we are today. So then we've had the struggle mentality for so long. We've been struggling. Now we finally get a little bit of coins. Now we want to look rich. And what people don't understand is, this is what I always say, and I said this on my masterclass yesterday, the people who look the richest are normally what? The poorest. We like to wear our wealth. We have the game backwards, but we just getting caught up, you know? So it's so many things, but I definitely think our situation stems from a lack of scarcity, which also derives from what? White supremacy and racism. What say you, Tiara?
I didn't hear the question, but you know, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and what I notice in my family is that everybody is doing their thing. Everybody is entrepreneur minded. From my little cousin, yeah, I got from the 22-year-old cousin that has a boutique to my aunties that have group homes and home healthcare staffing agencies, all kind of things,
right? You
right?
got money in your family, girl.
I mean, they got money, but here's the thing. We pull up, there's a Bentley outside, there's a Maserati outside, there's like, I'm serious. It's that type, that's what the family is like.
That's where you came from?
Nobody's working together. No, that's not what it always was. But like, my grandmother had 12 children and they've been worked really hard, and I don't know, there's just like this presence of entrepreneurship in the family. And so what that's done is, you look around and you're like, I can get it, because you see people in the family have it, but it feels like people don't want to work together. Is it dope if like you have a business idea and you like, I need 30 grand, and there's only certain people that'll give, just depending on who you are, who can get that investment or not. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like people are more interested in shining and competing with each other than coming together. We are a very rich family together, but apart, I think we're still poor.
It comes from that scarcity mindset. Again, it comes from the trauma that was passed down generation to generation. So it's like, I got mine, you got to get yours, because only
Yeah.
one of us could have it. We all
Yeah.
can't get it. And if I got to get it, and I got to shut the door behind me so I can keep mine, that's sort of the mentality. But that's what happens. It's like the experiments with the rats. You deprive all the rest of them, and you only give to one. Well, all the other ones gonna scramble, and that one, he just gonna close the door behind. He gonna fight tooth and nail to be the only one that gets it. It's the conditioning. It's the psychological conditioning of being Black in America. Period. Let's take a look at one of the videos that you have, Tiara, that's starting off this dialogue, because I don't know what it is that they about to say, but interesting. Let's talk about it.
Oh, you know what? Hold
Why
on.
your finger ain't on the trigger, boo?
Because we were talking. We was
I'm just messing with you. Listen, I'm back,
talking.
baby. I'm gonna give you a hard ass time too.
You know what? Actually, okay. So I have to. It's okay. Yep. Here we go. Here we
All right,
here
let's
we
get
go. All right.
That's money. Today's payday.
Yep. Yep. Dang it! It's the video
Booker
that
said a
we
sad
have.
situation, but now we know better.
You know what? I'm just gonna play a video because the one that we are is not the one that we uploaded. Is oh, yep. Here we go.
I'm gonna say it since y'all scared to say it, man. Black families don't get along with each other. That's why they can't stay under the same roof with each other and be family. Make it make sense. Imagine if we didn't go our separate ways when we turned 18, or didn't get put out the house when we turned 18 years old. Do you know how strong we would be? Imagine growing up with all your cousins, your niece, your nephews, grandma and granddad there. They still giving the knowledge to the youngsters that's coming up. The mamas and the daddies going to work and paying all the bills. That's generational wealth. But Black people can't get along with each other. That's why they can't stay under the same roof with each other. See, that's why all these other races are ahead of us. Make it make sense. Yeah. That's what's going on. If y'all haven't realized, we all need to be staying under the same roof, raising these children and creating generational wealth. Make
it make sense.
What'd you say, Felice?
I like what he said, and to some degree, I agree. And the reason I say that is because when you look at other ethnicities, and please know, I talk to a lot of young African American people, even my own child. And like, they're the only ones, they can't do roommates. You know what I mean? But I have white young clients, Asian young clients, Indians, Latinas. They don't mind living together and pulling in their resources. Literally, they do not mind. And so in Charlotte right now, it's very expensive to live. Like, it has skyrocketed. And so there's certain areas in Charlotte where the rent is ridiculous. So there's one part, like, it's called the South End, and literally you have a lot of our young, up and coming Caucasian, young people. They live out there, but they have like 3 deep roommating, but they drive in nice cars. They go into the nice restaurants. They're not skipping a beat. Then you got our African American ones. They on the verge of getting evicted. Don't have the next. You know what I mean? Looking good, dressing the part, but getting ready to get evicted. Charlotte had 55,000 evictions last year. Let's see, and let's break down the ethnicity of those. So what am I saying? I'm saying he's absolutely right. We cannot come together and figure it out, at least temporarily so, until you save enough and you build enough wealth to be able to move out, because that's what they do. They don't live together forever, but they live together long enough to be able to build wealth and equity so that they can move out. And then guess what they do? They still give to the people behind them to make sure that they can get out too. It's collaboration. We don't do it, and we got every excuse and really good reason why we are not pulling our resources together to be able to build this wealth that we need. I agree to some extent.
What about you? What you think, Tiara?
I hear what we're saying, right? I just think that at home, when you're growing up, I think the messaging is different. I mean, we're talking about programming. At home, I don't ever remember us having conversations like, here's the plan, here's the family business. I lived in a house where, my aunt she had a daycare, so there was business being done. She had a restaurant with my aunt. They were running businesses, but nobody was like, here, this is how you run a business. I just understood that, there was $5 on the table for lunch daily, and she took care of us, but there wasn't, when you turn 18, here's what we're gonna do, here's what you should do. Nobody said that. It was just like, when you turn 18, you got to figure it out. Well, you go to college, of course, and I went to college and all of that, but there wasn't, it just wasn't a plan. And I feel like that's the difference. I don't think we had been thinking, or maybe our families hadn't been thinking about ways to mold the future generations. I just don't think they were thinking about it. Now we do, right? Because it's just a different time. There's more access to information. But in the 80s, 90s, I just think people were trying to survive. There was a crack epidemic. People was just trying to get over, or to survive, or I don't know, but I don't think they were thinking about that.
So I have a problem when they paint Black people with a broad brush. I really do. When they say we don't do this, I don't. That is not my family. Black people don't get along. My family gets along very well. Everybody, like I was talking to my cousin this morning. We were talking about how our family is and how we have a thick skin because of whatever. But we ain't never had an issue with getting along. So I hate when people say Black people don't do this or Black people don't do that. That's the number one thing that just drives me mad, is when you just say Black people don't do this or do that. The other thing is, it goes back to society. It goes back to Western ideals. So when you're comparing Black people to an immigrant community, they come over here with a communal mindset. Black people have been indoctrinated with a Western idea of self-sufficiency, independency, right? This Eurocentric, rugged Eurocentric ideal lies way of thinking, of capitalistic thinking. What do I mean by that? So I know you said, Dr. Felice, that white people are having roommates and things like that, but generally white people do the same thing as Black people. They just have a better chance of being able to survive it because they've been past generational wealth, when Black people have been past generational trauma. They are able to do the things that they're doing by living in these communities, by being, one person in this house, because they've had some kind of, they've been afforded that lifestyle that we haven't had. So we have the same thinking because we've been taught that at 18, we get out of the house, all of those things. Somebody in the chat said, well, Caribbean family, they stay till beyond 18. Again, that is an immigrant family. They don't have those Westernized, Americanized ideals of what it's supposed to be. The problem is, we have these Westernized ideals. We just don't have the Westernized money to be able to sustain it. So we're just doing what it is that we were taught to do in America. We just don't have the same means and have never had the same access. And so it's not that Black people don't get along. Black people have dealt with trauma. And so that has forced us to be in the situation that we've been in. That's my opinion.
No, I get it. And I think it's valid. But then at what point do we say, okay, right? So yes, it's apples to oranges. We're what? 14% of the total population, yada, yada, I get it, right? All of that makes sense. Now that we're struggling. So at what point do we say, enough, let me do my research?
I think we are.
I did something different. I did. My daughter came back home after college. Not only that, my daughter is a homeowner. Okay. Way younger than I am. And so, yeah, we did do those things. Why? Because, and I'm not patting myself. You got to get fatigued and tired enough, knowing all the trauma, experiencing all the trauma, and then saying, you know what?
But here's the thing: you putting a timeline to this.
No, I'm not.
We have been oppressed longer than we've been free, Dr. Felice. We have been oppressed for 400 years in this country. We've been free 50. So we got to get caught up. And you're saying, well, how long look at how long we've been oppressed?
No, I'm not saying that. And let's no, I'm not. I'm only no confidence. I am not, because I told you my truth. I told you my story.
You just said it.
It took me decades before I got. I'm not saying that it's going to be overnight. It took me decades to get here, but I got tired enough after those decades. Like, I don't know how many decades you want me to be in poverty, right? I don't know how long you want that to be, but I know that the decades I was in it was too long. And so what am I saying is that after you get tired, now do something. I think we are.
I think there's an uptick. I think there's an uptick. I'll just say that. And I didn't
absolutely
mean to
look at statistically,
Dr. Felice, but
I think so too.
Yeah. I think so too. I think we were having these conversations, and we do. We sit around at family gatherings and around a water cooler and have these conversations saying Black people don't. And you know, I hear people do it all the time. You know, what
Yep.
opened my mind up to a different world was actually going on the road with Dr. Boyce and just being out and realizing at these conventions that Black people are indeed
Come on.
not, you know, we are
Impoverished.
not a monolith, right? Like, I just got to
Yes.
see it in real time. And so I think that's what changed my life, really, about, because you talked earlier about what changed your life and when you start thinking about financial. It was like when I started to go out around the country and travel and see that there were Black people just like me with money. Everybody wasn't broke. Everybody wasn't, you know, living the same struggle. And they had aspirations to be better and do better. And so I just see it. I see it.
But let me ask you this, y'all. Seriously, and you, Constance, because you know you're a historian. At what point did it kind of flip? Because like we had families who made way less than we did. And at one time, they weren't kicking their kids out at 18. Like, when did that come about? Like, you know, we were community minded. Like, and I saw somebody who said segregation was our friend. I agree. Thank you for saying that. At what point did it flip for us? Because we were doing those things. We were more community minded.
You just said it.
Integration.
Integration. Okay. But then on top of that, look, Dr. Felice, look, you got to think about all the other things that are at play at the same time as integration. Let's go back. After Reconstruction, that's after slavery, Black people were doing well. We didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. We didn't get that, right? They got 246 million acres of land. We got nothing. But yet we still made something out of nothing. We started our own towns. We was minding our Black businesses. We couldn't go to their businesses, so we had to start our own. So the dollar was circulating a year before it left the community. So when Tulsa happened, when Black Wall Street happened, and they bombed it, they burned it down, they rebuilt. So now they go from 600 businesses to 300 businesses. What happens finally to destroy it forever? It was integration, right? So now then we don't have to do business with Black people. We don't do business with Black people. So now we're doing all these other things. So let's go down to the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. Now we have the civil rights. We have the Black Panthers. We have all of these things because there's segregation. There's police brutality. There's the KKK. So now we fight in the power. What did J. Edgar Hoover say the biggest threat to America was? Negro unity. COINTELPRO was to disrupt, destroy, dismantle, right? So they did that. They hired Black people to come in and disrupt because the biggest threat to America was Negro unity. Why? What is so dangerous about Black people unifying? That's what their fear is, right? So then they do things. So you have COINTELPRO destroying, disrupting, right? Then you have the CIA putting drugs into the Black community. So now you destroy the Black community. And did you know that the CIA used to also put crates of guns, just drop them off in the community so we can kill ourselves? And guess what? We did, because when you're impoverished, you won't provide jobs. What do? You get it however you can get it. Anybody can get it. So now we turn into these animals. We are a social experiment at this point in America. They give our people diseases. We have police brutality. We have healthcare biases. There's all these things that Black people face. Then we can't get in the door. So then we have to try to fight to get in the door. We get DEI and we get affirmative action, but who benefits? Not us, white people. So this is the cycle that Black people have been through. So you ask why we don't have these conversations. It's because we never had the opportunity. We were struggling to survive. And there were few of us. You know, I have a friend named Jason. He's rich, right? He's my son's mentor. And like my son was like, you know, my son told him one of my greatest things, because I always tell my kids, y'all got to pay off this ghetto ass mortgage, because I'm not going to be 80 paying no, you know, 800,000, whatever my mortgage payment is, right? So I'm like, you bet. So he's like, my biggest thing I ever want to do is pay off my mama's mortgage, right? So Jason was like, you live in Woodmore. You acting like you live in the ghetto. Don't be telling people that. Like, I'm like, look, Jason, you came from wealth. Your people own banks. I came from sharecropping. We are not the same. We don't have the same privilege. We don't have the same mindset, right? I got it here, thank God, but we're not the same. So we have to just start thinking differently, because we're not the same. And Black people have, just in spite of all those things that we've been through, 44% of us are homeowners, and 70% of them are homeowners. So we're still thriving in spite of the barriers, not that were just back then, but that continue to happen today. That's where we are. So when we continue to take on the talking points of these white folks that says, why can't black people do this? Look at the Asian people. That's inauthentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at where we are. Look at what we've been through. This is the reason why.
Yeah. Come on,
Sorry,
history.
I know that was long-winded, but I just
but that's all right. We let you preach. We let you.
I asked the historian to
appreciate
share.
it. I appreciate it. Let's go to the next video. And when can we bring Deborah in? Deborah will win. Can we bring Deborah in?
You know what? Let's actually. So with because it's 10:30 now. Deborah, are you ready? Can you shake your head yes if you're ready? Can you shake your head yes if you're ready, Deborah? Are you ready?
Nod your head, Deborah. We can see you.
We can nod your head.
She's
You
ready.
are ready.
All right,
okay,
so bring her.
Let me just say this.
Okay.
And then based on everything that you just said, right? And then I had a conversation with Deborah Will Win, right? And it really changed my mindset about what a family could do. And I was really inspired. So y'all, I want y'all to listen to Deborah and watch how they run the Williams estate. And I just think it's up from here. It really is up for us.
I can't wait.
And, so yeah, let's go ahead and bring Deborah E. Williams. She's my cousin. I'm going to this Williams family.
Do you want to do the video first, or do you want to bring her in first?
Let's bring her in because it's 10:30, so we only have a certain amount of time. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I keep trying to add you. Don't press the button. Here we go. All right, you are muted, my love. How are you?
Hi, how are you? A great conversation. This is
What's up, Deborah?
So good.
Wait a minute. First, can I say this? Deborah, okay, so Deborah is a faithful listener of Fly Nubian Money. She came on the Grow Your Money podcast too. Here's a fun fact about Deborah. How old she look? About 30, 35?
30.
Deborah's a great grandmother.
Black don't crack.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank God. Yes.
So I'm interested, Deborah, in hearing about this family business that you got. Put us up on some games so we can learn some things.
So it's our family reunion. It's the Williams Family Circle. And we have been having family reunions since we just celebrated last year our 130th family reunion.
Oh, wow. Y'all got history.
And we've been doing it the second week in May from the beginning. So Mother's Day was not a holiday when we started in the 1800s. We have our estate because my third great-grandmother, Mountain Williams, was the slave master's mistress. And he, as you teach so well, Constance, he put her in his will.
Wow.
And so he put her in his will.
What year was
and
that?
She put us in his will. This is in the 1800s. This is before the 1900s.
Okay.
So,
this was after emancipation then. This was after slavery.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so it's in Chatham County, North Carolina, that we have the Williams family estate. We have homes there on the land. You can buy
How many
into
acres?
it. We're on two sides of a highway, Highway 751. So we go up and down Highway 751. The acreage, I don't have the exact number for that. But you can Google Mountain Williams. We have a cemetery there. My mom is buried there. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, my sister. It's called the Williams Garden, and that's where our family members are buried at. We have our reunion every year. We have a board. We have a president, vice president. How
many people are in your reunion?
So when we had the pandemic, we didn't miss even during the pandemic. We did Zoom. I brought Zoom to the family. And so we even did it with Zoom. The news came on Zoom. So I would say in attendance, like people have to pick and choose, especially if you're married. If we're going to go to the family reunion because it's Mother's Day weekend. So you have to support, when it comes to husbands and wives. And I understand that. But normally it's anywhere from 300 to 500 people. The farthest family member comes from Japan. She's the farthest. Yep. She comes from Japan. And we have the reunion every year. This is the first time that we're thinking about changing the date because it costs so much. And in North Carolina, there's a lot of graduations going on Mother's Day weekend. So we get kind of crazy with the hotel cost because everybody jacks their prices up because it's, graduation time. And so that's when we have to, now we're talking about pivoting. But yes, we have a board. So we vote on everything. When you're out of work, we have funds where we, help you. We've paid mortgages, we've paid rent. We give money within the family to family members. We buy groceries. We have a sick fund. We have we do graduation presents. We give cash for the graduates when babies are born. We give new Bibles, and it's well structured. It's very well structured. And I joined the board when I saw some of the older members. I said, "Oh my God, cousin so and so is getting older." So I ran for vice president, and I lost by 5 votes. But I ended up being the director of operations. So like when we have stuff going on the ground, I did my research, found out, where we're going to go. We use the family property for our Friday night, which is called Attitude Adjustment Night. Get your attitude together. You're coming in off the road. You're coming in with your family. Put aside whatever's going on in your life because you're with your family and it's all love. So that's Friday night. You come, we have potluck food. You get your name tags, get your T-shirts, get your itinerary. And then Saturday, we have our fish fry. Also, in the morning on that Saturday, we have what we do is we go and we clean the cemetery and we replant new flowers. And the men go play golf if they want to go play golf or whatever.
So this is the reunion, right? So you guys you guys have a like entity established, or how do you guys do all of that stuff in terms of the business part?
So in terms of the business, it's not like LLC or incorporated.
Okay.
Because it's been being done the way it's been being done. We have been having meetings about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of things being structured and everybody being LLC'd out now.
Yeah,
but we've been maintaining it this way.
I love it.
Since 1865.
So this is why I say, Felice, like that guy saying all black people, no, all black people don't do that. All black people don't act like that. All black people don't have a scarcity mindset. Maybe some black people do. And I'm going to tell you, there is a difference between black people and niggas. There just are. And you can go to like in my area, in some parts of Prince George's County, we got black people. In PG County, we got niggas. Like it just depends on where you go, right? So all black people, we are not a monolith. We are not all the same. And so that's the first thing I think we got to do is we got to stop adopting the talking points that we're all this way, or adopting bad behavior of black people and internalizing it and owning it. Why do you guys do this? I don't do that. There ain't nobody I know do that. So all black people don't do that. So stop owning bad shit that other black people do, because that ain't us.
No, I agree with you. And
not you. I'm just saying us as in general. Like we, I must do that.
I think that's a great point, and thank you for bringing that to the forefront. That we do have to stop doing that. I think just to give these people, some people grace, is that people have a tendency to talk from their experience, and when they're talking from their experiences, they have a tendency to generalize. And so we also have to learn the skill of saying and presenting, this is my journey and this is what I've experienced, versus bringing the whole black community into a space when it's not true. So thank you for saying that, Constance.
Yeah, like people who are privileged. I know this one guy, he said he had went to college, and he thought, he had, he's black, 2-parent household, went on vacations, all this stuff. And he was like, I didn't know till I went to college that every black person ain't like that. Who knew, right? You ain't watched Good Times, Negro. You didn't know that black people didn't, but that's the experience that they kind of paint us all with. And that's not who everybody is. And that's kind of the thing that drives me crazy. But I think it's so dope. And what your family reminds me of, Deborah, When I went to Detroit last year or the year before last, I went to the Motown museum, and then so Barry Gordy, the way he started Motown is his family did sort of like a susu, right? So they all would put money in a pot. And anytime somebody wanted to invest or do something, they would have to vote. And then they would say, okay, but they couldn't take out more than what they put in, but they would invest in people's businesses or, things like that. That's what we need to get to. And I'd like to see that, for us as Black people as a whole. What's your thoughts, Dr. Felice?
Constance, sign me up, let me know. Seriously.
You can do for your family, though. That's something that you could start with your family. Like, that's not something that has to be like super organized. Like, you could have a meeting with your daughter and your husband. And
absolutely. And thank you for bringing Tiara. Seriously, thank you for bringing Deborah to the table, right? What does that mean? We need to be able to see that this has been done. It's been done in excellence, and that is possible. Mm-hmm. And once we see that it's possible, Black people can take it and run. Like, that's all we need to know is get exposed to it. Yeah. So thank you for exposing us to what Black excellence and legacy wealth can really look like, right? And so I am inspired by the story of your family and the possibility of what I can do and build for mine. And yes, I love Susu. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to make it happen for my family. I'm going to decide that. So I'm so glad to be at the table today.
I think we should. And I think that's something that everybody, even that's listening in the chat, should even look at doing. Like, if you don't get the hating ass Negroes involved, but just the ones who want to effectuate change, who want to see something, you all have an idea. This is what we're doing. We're going to put $100 in a month or whatever that looks like. And these are the rules to make it effective. When I was in growing up, I'm from San Jose, California, y'all. And now I just posted something like there ain't no Black people in the Bay Area no more. But I think we had maybe 7-8% of Black people in the city of San Jose. Now we have less than 1%. It's crazy. But we had some Black folks. And so we used to, I lived around a lot of Vietnamese, and we used to laugh our asses off like, it's 20 of them motherfuckers in the house. Or the Hispanics, it's 30 of them in the house. And we laughing. They own San Jose now. They own every plaza, every shopping center, every strip mall today, because they stayed in the house, they saved their money, and they helped each other. And that's something that we have to learn how to do, whether we live with each other or not. Tiara, you have anything you want to contribute to that before we go to the next video?
I like I said, I was really inspired. It just had me thinking. I actually thought, Deborah, I thought you all were incorporated. I mean, because y'all move like that, right? After saying all of those things, it's like I've been really thinking about what can be done when people just put their minds together. I think it's like we have it, but we don't. It's like just putting together just a little bit of a plan, just a little plan. Like you said, Constance, it doesn't have to be well structured or well oiled. But I didn't start to think about like 100-year plan until I was around Les Brown, right? He was like, well, what's your 100-year plan? I was like, 100-year plan? I don't know. But when you think about what it looks like out loud, it's what the Williams estate is doing. And so I'm just really inspired by that.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that during our family reunion, I'm responsible for bringing the entrepreneurs of the family to come, and we don't charge them anything. Just come, bring your services, your products, set up everything. I try to get at least 10 or more. Bring your tents, bring your paraphernalia, bring everything that you're selling. So that's what I do every year is I bring all the entrepreneurs that are selling things, whatever their services are. If you sell life insurance, come, bring it, bring your props, whatever, and just bring it so the family knows what you're doing, so we can also support you as well. I have a cousin, probably like 15 years ago, he came, set his table up. I wasn't in charge at that time, but I was like, hey, what is he, he was doing crowdfunding. And he has now he has a really big cannabis company out in Oregon. It's called Loud. And his name is Jesse Horton. And that's how he started. Like we all
family
money, and he has a huge business. And now he's doing legislation. He comes back and forth to New York to meet with our attorney general here to help others be able to be cannabis owners as well that have records to expunge, because
That's
he had a
amazing.
record and everything. So yeah, so we, we look into things. We're problem solvers naturally. That's
Amazing.
Black people are
I'm gonna
problem.
go. I'm gonna join that Williams family.
I know,
That-
girl.
that
Listen, I
sounds-
want to join it too.
Come on in. Come on
You,
in.
you
I
know
told
what
you,
though? So thank God for Ancestry, and thank God for all the genealogy sites, because uh my family has been getting together for family union for 100-something years. So what you did, you inspired me, because we were the lost line of that family. So there was like 10 brothers or whatever, and one of them or two of them were like lost. And so because of Ancestry or whatever, they found the lost two, or maybe our line. And so I haven't, this is probably over the last 10 years, but they've been doing this since the 1800s as well. And I never had a desire to go until right now, just listening to you. I'm interested in knowing, like, that just wasn't a line that I was really interested in. I shouldn't say that, but it wasn't. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get engaged. I want to see what they've been doing for the last 150 years, because I think that's dope.
Yeah,
They might be doing the same kind of stuff. Who knows? Like, that's amazing. Wow. Tiara, what other videos do we got?
All right, so we do have another video, and then I think we gotta let Deborah go backstage.
Deborah,
but,
this has been
that's
amazing.
been so good. Thank you for sharing with us. Like, we
Thank you,
appreciate
ladies.
that.
Thank you so much. Great conversation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, so yeah, I have another video for you. So I really want to know, what is considered wealth. So what do you think the number is? What's the number, Felice?
What do you think, Felice?
At least a billion.
At least a what?
At least $1 billion.
$1 billion is considered wealth.
Billy?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Constance, what number is considered wealth in America? Wealthy.
I don't know.
You don't know? All right. Let's see. The chat, I want to know what you think. Here we go.
What number is considered wealthy?
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading a study by Pew Research, and they define wealth as a net worth of $667,500. And they came up with this number because they said the median net worth was $167,000. So they basically 4x the median average, and they said upper tier wealth, it would be considered $667,000. And when they came up with this number, they discovered that 36% of Asian households have a net worth of at least $667,000, while 28% of white households meet that criteria, and less than 10% of black households meet that number. And when I see that number, right, it makes me think, like, is it a cultural problem, a systemic problem, or both? I'm interested to know what y'all think about it. But it also made me think, right, years ago, I interviewed the son of a billionaire black real estate developer, and he was sharing to me how they family have a 300-year legacy plan. His father had him underwriting real estate deals when he was in the 4th grade. And this is why I always say that there is no true wealth without a family structure to grow, protect, multiply, and pass it on. And anything else is really just renting a status. And when you understand this concept, right, you realize that spouses and children, they aren't optional in this equation. And getting back to the original stat that I brought up, I think too many times, and this is just my opinion, we waste too much time entertaining and discussing stupid shit.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I mean, we're talking net worth here. It's not even liquid cash. It's what your net worth is, right? So $657,000. Okay, that's cool.
I feel like that takes kind of the pressure off of being like, I gotta go out and get a gajillion dollars to be wealthy. When in America, it really is something that is considered a bit attainable. For us anyway, if we just like put our minds to it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I do believe, when he talks about having those conversations with your children, that's paramount. Felice, what conversations are you having with your daughter after you made that shift about what wealth looks like? And then I want to ask you the same thing, Tiara.
So first I started modeling it, right? Like showing her how I'm saving, letting her know the things that I'm investing in, the masterminds that I sit on that are developing. Like I even invite her to some of the masterminds that I sit in that literally are, positioning us for that. And so showing her by modeling and bringing her along to show, hey, this is how we're going to position ourselves for wealth, and to be patient with the process, but to stay steady and consistent. And so that's the best I can do. Now, is it foolproof? Like, is there some slippage and different things? Like, yes. And so when you dust yourself back up, get back on it. You know what I mean? You spend
But
too much.
did you give her any conversation? Like, is there anything that you taught her specifically? Like, hey, keep your credit good or whatever. Like, did you have any conversations about wealth?
So we did have conversations about her credit. And so her credit is good, so we did have those conversations about, you got to make sure you keep your credit. You got to make sure that you pay on time, even try to pay more than what it says, because that's thievery that they do with you with those, percentages. Anything over 10% is thievery. Nobody should be charging you a percentage over 10.
Tell the credit card companies.
Right. No, seriously, they're thieving. So you shouldn't even accept those credit cards.
They're all over 10% though. What are we supposed to do? Not have a credit card?
I've got credit cards under 10. So I'm just saying that
who does that?
Shop for those, you know what I mean? And so keep your credit going. Like those
hey, when we get done, text me who you got. I need one of them.
She be like, I got it under 10. Period. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Man.
Go ahead. Period.
Yeah, so you're right. So those are the conversations that I have, and it's a work in progress. And we keep trugging along, doing different things. And my daughter does have me as a guide and as support. And so, I just appreciate that I know more. And so because I now know more, I try to do more and model more the best I can.
Yeah,
that's good. What about you, Tiara?
Yeah, it's a work in progress with my 15-year-old as well. Cause she just, she'd be like, well, it's cool. Cause mama, you rich or whatever, like whatever you got it. So, even I took her to, I've been taking her to conferences. She gets to be around people like Constance and, she gets to hear what I didn't hear at her age. So she's very mindful. I want to say at the last conference we were all at in Miami, Lauren got on the mic and was like, okay, so my issue with
Lauren
money
is something else. Oh,
she was like, my issue with money is that I spend it as soon as I get it. It's the worst habit ever, but I'm working on
this
it.
This is a 14-year-old, y'all.
She'll be right. She'll be 15 in March. And that is, so what I know is that she's mindful of it, but we talk about insurance. I mean, she sees me around here studying for an insurance exam because it's part of my retirement plan. Even if I'm not writing policies, I'm partnering with my sister queens and just doing different things. And it's just thinking outside the box on what that looks like.
No, I said I need to do that too. I passed the insurance exam. I just had never did anything with the insurance, but that's good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's great to have, right? So it's good to just like let her know, hey, this is the reason why we get this. This is why we do that. On top of that, maybe I might be able to help creatives and artists who are running around using their creativity, but they don't have any. I mean, I know so many artists that don't have insurance. It's crazy. And so when I, building that into my business plan, but for my daughter though, just having conversations around money, around the stock market, letting her get on the phone with Dr. Boyce when we have meetings and he's like, okay, Lauren, you need to do this, So it's that. I don't know if it's hitting because she's 14 turning 15, but at some point it will. It will. And so that I'm excited about that. But it's at least she's around it.
You keep having her in those rooms because look, when I brought my boys in Miami, Boyce is telling them the shit that I've been telling them, and because he said it was so profound. It's like, Negroes, I've been telling y'all this shit for years, so they might not be listening. I get so upset because it's we have the conversations about money all the time. And here's one thing about me, like they know that if they are looking to do businesses or whatever, like my daughter was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do this, what you call them, but it's $300 and I ain't got $300, and and I'm like, girl, if you ask me for $300 so you can go get your nails done, I'm not going to do it. But if it's for an investment, absolutely. I invest in my kids. And so they know that. I'm going to invest in them. Like my son, he's like, hey, I need $500 because I want to buy these, whatever, so I can start reselling. Bet. Whether you make money or not, I want you to give you the opportunity so that you can start investing at this young age. So we have those conversations. But at the same time, I gave them all my credit book. The page looks brand new. The other day, I just wrote the ramp journal. I sat down and I had a meaningful conversation with my boys. Like, this is going to change your life. My son, he went back to school last week. His ramp journal was on his desk. I looked in there. It was not a page written on. I was like, these motherfuckers don't do nothing.
But it's going to come with somebody else.
Right. Somebody else. Right. But we do have the conversations. You know, my oldest son, when he was in the 8th grade, he used to say, my biggest fear in life is that I'm not going to be successful. And I said, wow, that's amazing that, you know, for you as a Black man, it's not that I'm going to make it to 21, is that he desires success so badly, because these are the things that we've always talked about. We do talk about money, whether they're doing the right things or not. They might have to go through some bad credit situations like they mama, because of choices and decisions that they made. But it's not because I haven't had the conversations with them. It's not that we haven't sat down and talked about money. We all talk about, hey, okay, what are you investing in? And what do you, and my middle son, he just haven't found himself yet. He's just, everybody else is talking about what they doing. He's just like, you know, and I'm like, no pressure. You know, everybody finds themselves at different times, son. You will figure it out for yourself. Don't even worry about it. Don't feel like intimidated or don't feel like a failure. Everybody's gonna figure it out. Don't worry about it. But they all have their journey. I think the biggest thing is making sure that we put the information in front of them. And just like you said with Lauren, I had been taking Kyoto conferences since she was 13. And you've seen her. She could sell my books better than me. She could sell Constance Carter better than me. Like it's them. It's them being around that. It's the repetition. They said repetition is the mother of all learning. So just continue to have your children exposed to that. When we left the conference in October, ABNC, we left the conference in October. My son is now a freaking motivational speaker. I didn't think he was listening. Now the boy a motivational speaker. I'm like, he don't even talk. He don't even talk. But it's being right. It's being around these environments, exposure. We got to expose our kids to this stuff. That's the only way that they're going to learn, I believe. Oh,
I love that. I love that. I see. And we got to get. Oh, well, she got off. But I love to see. I love to see your kids on my timeline, right? I'm like, these damn Carter kids, like, listen, killing it. Whether it's Kai or whether it just, you know, I don't see Warren in them as much, but like just the ones that are online, they're killing it. And I love that.
But it's the being around all of you guys, you know, it's the access and the proximity. And so at ABNC this year, we're going to actually have a youth session. It's going to be called Young, Black, and Rich. And we're working on that right now. So bring y'all kids around so that they can be engaged and enthralled in this, because this is going to be the game changer. If we're really talking about, you know, creating wealth, and we're really talking about how do we change the next generation, we got to take off the talking points of what we don't do, what we ain't, what we can't, what we haven't, how we don't got, the scarcity stuff. Take the scarcity stuff out and start not just, you know, it's not just enough to talk abundance, but it's about being around abundance. We got ABNC coming up. We got the digital conference coming up next week. Like, tap in, get your kids in. Like, don't just do it for you, but share this information with them, because that's the way we're going to change it. And we're not going to say Black people ain't doing this, Black people ain't, you know, all that shit that we've been saying for the longest. We done. We're taking that out of our vocabulary, and we're going to start doing. We ain't going to just be hearers of the word, y'all, like y'all be up on here. We're going to be doers of the word. You heard me?
You heard me?
You got another thing? Or no?
Yeah. I was just about to say, just as somebody that works in a story business, you know, I remember that we are being programmed all the time, everywhere you go, whether you're watching an ad or you're watching anything, you are being programmed. I think, you know, I produced reality television for quite some time until I realized that, like, hey, I'm contributing to a narrative that doesn't serve the Black community at all, that doesn't serve the people. And it made me create a business at the Real Network. It made me create a production company that I felt like. Then we started to create documentaries that was about resurrecting Black Wall Street and Black scholars and, you know, Black love. Like, those are my last 3 films that I've directed. You know,
where they at? Where can we see them?
I gotta drop that.
Oh my God!
But that's why, right? Because I worked in reality, and I felt like, you know, not only did reality TV teach you conflict resolution, it doesn't teach you conflict resolution skills. You don't even know why when you listen to music and you watch television that it's making. I remember I used to wake up and I'd be listening to Lil Wayne, and before you know it, I'm shooting up the steering wheel. I'm like, why am I so aggressive? You know what I mean?
You're angry. Why are you so angry and aggressive?
Like, who are you? You are banging on bacon.
Like, what?
Like, talking about things, thinking about things that are low vibrational. And so I felt like reality TV was doing the exact same thing. Low vibration, low vibration, low vibration. So I just wanted to raise that. So I just encourage you to do the same when it comes to like what you consume and how you think about your people, how you think about your family. It's a story.
Yeah, man. I had to stop watching like the housewife. I found myself like my blood pressure raising. I was like, this ain't good for me. This is, you know,
Yes.
my what do you call that? Um I forget what it's
What?
called, but it was
What?
just it was messing me up. It was messing me up mentally. Like I was just like, you know, you just stressing off for somebody else's bullshit. And I don't got to
Man,
stress my own life. And I gotta watch you and this is getting me all hyped up and stuff. Yeah,
man,
no.
they once they start yelling and calling each other out their names, like I can sit in a room and when people start watching reality TV, I get a little triggered. And
Do
so
you?
like yeah, a little bit, only because once they start yelling and screaming, I'll be like, how do you watch this? But
Yeah.
how can I even say
My
like
nervous system. My
yeah,
nervous
my
system.
nervous system
Yeah, yeah,
starts to
yeah.
feel all of
Mhm.
that. It's yeah, I don't
I
like
actually did
that.
a Black History Spotlight on that. I'm gonna send it to you, but I did a post about that very thing because you know I think that it's another part of the programming. It's another
Yep.
part of the oppressive nature
Yep.
of Eurocentric things to keep Black people oppressed. Because you would
Yep.
never see a Jew with attitude. You would never see a Jew calling they women bitches and hoes, but they will
Yep.
put millions of dollars into the same thing for Black people. And I think that is the thing that's really telling. So it's the
Yep.
programming.
Reality is the new rap. Reality is the new rap.
We got to wake up to it though, Tierra. Like
Yeah.
we have to really like say, you know, enough is enough. But here's the thing too: is we can create our own stories. You got
Yep.
YouTube, you got the Real Network. Like we can really start creating and changing the narrative of what we want to see, and you know, putting it out there. Whether we think people are going to consume it or not, whether we think people only want negativity or not, put it out there anyway. Put it out there anyway. It's like that consistency thing. Like you can put it out there for 5 years and get nothing, but that 6 year, it might pop. Keep
Yep.
doing it anyway because it's the right thing to do.
Well, I say that to you too, sis. Like you putting out your daily black videos, those moments.
Yeah.
Those somebody sent that to me randomly. I was like, oh, this my homegirl. Like,
Right.
somebody's mama sent it to me, like, you should watch this. I said, I know her.
I know her.
So I know
Girl,
her.
my
So
cousin said that. My cousin
that.
in Phoenix, she was like, my mother-in-law sent me one of your videos talking about I need to follow you. I said, that's my cousin. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I mean, it's crazy because I started the Real Network, and really it was Real Righteous Entertainment. So you see what I was on from the beginning, but it was Real Righteous Entertainment at first, and then afterwards I was like, oh, the Real Network. And so it all came from a moment. Deborah, and we got to go, but Deborah Lee was still CEO of BET at the time, and people were complaining about the programming. She was like, Black people don't want to see positive programming. Well, that's a lie, because just 20 years before, we were watching Teen Summit and all types of really positive programming, Bobby Jones Gospel, and then they clipped it and put things like Uncut in the middle of the night, putting all these raps on, so I just think that was a slow programming. All of that, like the decline in television and good Black content was a decline. And I think, I think that's why. And so that was my answer. That was my answer to her and Mona Scott. Anyway, like that was me starting the Real Network was the answer to that. So
Good.
doing.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing that shit. We got another video. We're going to get out of here.
I think we should get out of here. It's 11:02.
All right, I got to get to work anyway. I got to do stuff. I'm going to be working till midnight, y'all. But listen, I'm doing so much right now that I'm really doing a lot to put some things out to help Black people. My stuff is for everybody, but Black people first. And I'm unapologetically Black about helping Black people. So I got a lot of stuff that I'm putting together, a lot of stuff I'm doing. Net 7 Collective, our new cohort starts. If you are a Black woman or you know a Black woman and you want to be a part of something amazing, go to my website, ConstanceCarter.com. And then I also have the Grow Your Money Club. And I also do a gym masterclass every Tuesday. It's a free masterclass where I'm teaching knowledge and skills to the public every Tuesday at 12 o'clock right here. Well, you got to sign up for it. So just go to my website. All that stuff is on there. So where can you find me? Everywhere at I Am Constance Carter. I try to make content that I think is that's going to help Black people. I exist to help Black people build, grow, and pass their wealth. That's why I do what I do. Simply because of that. So follow me everywhere. I Am Constance Carter. What about you, Miss Tierra?
Yeah. So As you know, we already did final thoughts, right? But as you know, I'm a storyteller, storytelling expert. I'm a writer. I work in Hollywood. I've been here for the last 20 years of my life. And this year I have made at least this quarter, not this year, but I want to help 25 people, 5 people a quarter. No, that's 20 people. Okay. I want to help some people tell their stories. And so that means through podcasts. So I'm switching gears and I just want to work with people who want to start a podcast this year. So if you want to curate your messaging, your story and figure out how to tell that on a platform, I want to help you do that. So go to missblackhollywood.net. We were just talking about it that last year I probably produced about not just it just by itself Fly Nubian Queen about 250 episodes, and the year before that, whatever I did before that. So, Dr. Boyce calls me the podcast queen, which I am going to trademark. I don't know how that's going to work with
Girl, do it.
Hollywood, Carmen J, and now the
You're
podcast
all
queen.
those
But
things.
all of the
You are
things.
every woman.
I am every woman.
It is
But
all
I
in
do.
you.
I want to help you. If you want to tell your story and you want to get to it and really impact change, don't come to me with no foolishness because I'm not going to help you. But if you are serious and you want to work together, go ahead and go to missblackhollywood.net. That's
I love it.
MSBLACK Hollywood.net.
Listen, Tiara, so let me say something. This conversation it wasn't about blame, and it's not about pretending that everything is stacked against us with no room to move, because that's not the move. That's not the move. That's not how we talking. But it really is about being honest about what happens inside families, the trust issues, the competitions, the lack of planning, and the habits that keep on repeating. I need you guys to understand that wealth does not just require money. It requires alignment. And until families can work together without tearing each other down, building anything lasting is always going to be harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
So we got to work together. We got to stay together. We got to practice collective economics. We got to continue to what they always say, be one. Boom.
B1.
See
Val.
you tomorrow. Same
B1.
bat,
We'll see you soon.
same bat channel.
We'll see you tomorrow, Constance.
Tomorrow's.
Thursday.
How come I
Yes.
wasn't on yesterday?
You are good night. Good night. Goodbye, y'all. You see what I deal with? I quit.
On Thursday.